What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the NFC North Roundtable. This is going to be an exciting show. We got some controversy backstage, so we said, you know what? We're not going to settle this backstage. Just hit the live button right now. Let's figure this out, and then we'll go from there, okay? And matter of fact, just to be fair, let's change the landscape until we know, right? You know what? Let's do this. Let's do something weird.
I like that one.
Maybe let's do something weird until we figure this out, all right? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, before we even dive all the way in, this stream is being powered by BetUS. Receive a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit using code YouTube150, all right? Take advantage of that opportunity, especially if you're looking for a new sports book. BetUS is the place to be. The odds for this week 7 are up, and they are ready for everyone to view. Go on to BetUS, and you'll be able to find those odds and get in on your favorite team. We got some good games coming up this week, some division games, which should be very exciting. This is the week. This is the week right here. Don't forget, BetUS is not just a sports book, but it also has live betting during the game, the casino, race book, and so much more. BetUS, your official sports book, and the official sports book of Roundtable Sports, representing NFC North Roundtable. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. Let's get into this. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got a little bit of a controversy. All right. We have a controversy. We're trying to figure out who's in last place. Is it the Bears or the Packers? Now, let me tell you why we got a controversy, because Baz said he will fight it to the death tonight to prove that they're in third place instead of fourth. First of all, weigh in the chat and let us know who you think is in last place in this division right now. Dion, let's start with you, man. Who do you think is in last place?
Oh man, you know what? You should skip me. Honestly, go to one bar.
Not who you want. Not who you want.
I'm gonna set the tone horribly for this, and I don't want to do that. This is a good show. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
One bar, you gonna help a man? Dion copping out.
Hey, look, all I'll say is coming into this, I just was completely under the impression that the Packers were in fact last place. I usually, like, standing wise, going by Google, that's where I usually look. I'm usually not looking at the NFL.com, ESPN. Baz did lay it out. If it's true, the way, and I'll let him describe it. If his theory is true, then the Packers should be 3. But I did think they were 4.
Let me guess, and tell me if I'm wrong, Baz. Let me guess your theory. Because when I looked it up earlier today, I ran into an issue, and I was like, hold on, what are you doing in this situation? Then I found that you just move on to the next line. Basically, there's one of the qualifiers where the Bears doesn't even have data on it yet. They're like 0-0 on something, and
it's conference games, correct?
Yes, it is conference games. Now,
so go ahead. Go ahead. You can go.
Right.
I'll rebuttal after.
Here's the problem. In the NFL standings, the way that they determine playoffs, because that's all that matters, right? The way they determine playoffs, division is before conference.
Yes.
And in the division, if I'm not mistaken, the Bears are 2-0. Am I correct?
We are 2-0. In the NFC, we are 2-0.
They are 2-0 in the division. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's where Green Bay. See, I think what you were looking at, you might have looked at like NFL Network or something where they do conference records, or they do like-minded or something. I forgot. Let me look at it.
I believe that's it for division standings right now. If you go to the NFL website, we're third, and the reasoning behind it is it first brings up conference win percentage. Yes, the Packers lost a conference game. Our win percentage is 0. The Bears haven't played a conference game. Their win percentage is 0. So then it moves to common games. They've lost to the Colts. We beat the Colts.
So according to the NFL, this is what they have. The rules are different when it's 2 clubs, 3 clubs, and or more. The 2-club rule, okay? That's where we're gonna start here. Let me see here.
I'm on the page. I'm on the page.
Also, I just want to quickly throw in there, ESPN also has the Bears in third.
Okay.
ESPN does. Well, you're on the NFL website. Go to their standing tabs where you're looking at those exact rules. Go to their standing tabs.
Well, I haven't gone to I'm just going off of the rules that say the first thing you identify is head-to-head matchup. You haven't played each other, right?
Correct.
All right. Number 2, best win percentage in games played within the division. That's where I kind of was like, oh, there we go. And they are undefeated, and Green Bay, I don't even think has a division win yet.
Wait, what do you mean, TD?
You mean a conference win, TD?
No,
Green Bay's 2-2.
No. You're talking conference. Neither team has played it. The Packers have played the Vikings. The Bears have yet to play a divisional opponent. Correct, Nick, right?
Okay, that's right. You are correct. So the Packers are 0-1
yes,
in the division, and the Bears are 0-0. So
yes.
I had that.
What is the win percentage for both? 0.
The win percentage is 0.
So then it moves forward.
Even though the Packers would be
it's
worse
based on no, it is not. It's a 0 win percentage.
I get you. So we'll go to the next box here.
Yes.
Okay. The next box is best win percentage in common games. Did you all play any common games?
Yep, the Colts. And guess who won that one? And guess who lost that one? The Green Bay Packers beat the Colts, and the Bears lost to the Colts. There we are.
But wait. Oh boy. let's just I
best win loss percentage in common
games. It goes on
games.
Percentage. A 0% is a 0%. Doesn't matter if you lost 15 games or you played 0.
Colts. Oh man, even I was wrong. Sorry, Nick.
I'm glad we went live.
I mean, listen, we're both 4-2. Like that's fine with me. The point is,
we're arguing over pennies.
Nick, it's a technicality. Nick, it's a technicality.
No, it's fine. It's fine because we also earlier, if you go to all the different ones, it just shows that no one really knows.
I know.
ESPN says it's 3rd, but NFL says it's 4th. Google says it's 3rd, but then I think CBS says it's 4th. So it's all over the place. Honestly, TD, let's leave it up to the chat.
Here's the difference, Nick. If this was to win the division, that would be a different story.
There would also be a lot more data.
Yeah, which is true. If this was to win the division, though, it would not go in that order.
Yeah.
This is after winning the division, so I automatically have the Vikings in that slot, at least temporarily.
I think a lot of people are confusing, and they're thinking of conference record. That's not what it is. It's conference win percentage. We are both at 0. No matter, the Packers could be 0-8 in the conference, and the Bears could play 0 games. They're still 0 win percentage. It's the same thing.
Well, let me ask Dion this. At least you can answer this, Dion. Which one's worse, 0-0 or 0-1?
0-1 is worse, TD. We got to be
not
0-1.
It's not about what's worse. It's what you can prove in a court of law.
It is worse.
Hey, you know what's funny about all of this? The quietest person is like, oh, they're just arguing over the basement. Oh, the basement dwellers are just
This ain't the basement, first off. This is not the basement.
Hey, Baz, how about this? Just to create unity, virtual high five for 4-2. There you go. I'm giving you a high five right there.
Wrong side. Other arm. No, I'll do that side.
Oh, man.
Hey, okay.
That's
we're all
so
happy.
awkward to do.
Good job, guys. Good job. Glad we got that squared away.
Let's go ahead.
First 8 minutes of the show.
Let's go ahead. Let's dive into it, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna open up the show. Well, we already opened up the show with some controversy, but we're gonna open it up because I got a question, one that's been floating around, and not the NFC North community, but the NFL community about the NFC North. A lot of people are saying that this is the best division in football right now. I got a 2-part question with you. First of all, do you agree with that? And second off, is there a world where you actually see all 4 teams making the playoffs? Let's start off with one bar.
Absolutely, it's the best in the NFL. It's not even close. I mean, you look at the AFC. I mean, you got the Ravens. I mean, that division is doing well with the Steelers too. Bengals will be a sneaky team, but yeah, I mean, it's not even close. As far as all 4 teams making the playoff, no, somebody's going to fall off here. The Packers. I mean, all 3 other teams have a very tough road ahead of them in the middle of that schedule. Where the Vikings, it gets a little cake here. Granted, I'm not just anointing us kings already, but somebody's going to drop off. And by drop off, it's still going to be basement's still going to be a damn good record, but no, not all 4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What about you, Dion?
So, okay, just want to check in. Do we all play? We all play the NFC? No, we don't all play the NFC South, do we?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, I would say I think it's possible. I think it's possible then because
good point.
Look, we already took our 1Ls to Tampa Bay, but I think we're going to win the division. So I'm not even worried about that at that point. Now it's about getting the wild card teams. I could see it happening where with the way the NFC South plays off, that if you told me the Packers were better than anybody in the South, I could believe you. I could believe you with the Bears, and I could believe you with the Vikings. So with that in mind, looking at the NFC West and how messy that is, not buying into San Fran this year at all, but seeing a team like the LA Rams knock them off, I don't like much of the NFC depth. So when I look at it, I say, yeah, why not? Well, let's make history. It's possible. I think we've made history to this point with our record as a whole.
Yeah.
Interesting. What you got on it, Bass?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic. I mean, when you look at the divisions, well, first off, we lead in point differential by like a massive margin. Like our whole division collectively, it's insane. We all create so many turnovers. We all, every single team, it's insane right now. And I don't think it's any argument. Like there's absolutely zero argument that this is not the best division in football right now. Like I said, I don't even think it's an argument. But when you look at like all 4 teams making the playoffs, like now it's possible that there is 7, but I just don't know, because you still look at the NFC South with the Falcons and the Bucks, and the NFC West, Niners, Seahawks, maybe, we're still early on. And then you have the Commanders leading, but you also have the Cowboys and Eagles at 3 wins apiece. It's hard to say. I agree with One Bar that like it's not this what we're doing right now is not going to go for 18 weeks. Like there's no possible way. I just don't see it. The amount of turnovers we're getting, no team rarely does a team ever average 2 turnovers a game or 2 takeaways a game, and every single one of our teams does right now. So like that rarely ever continues the entire season. So it's hard to say. But I don't think all 4 could make it. I just don't see it.
Man, Nick, what you got on it?
So I saw this on Twitter somewhere, but if the playoffs started today, the whole NFC North would be in the playoffs. I believe that's what I saw because they have enough data for it now. But we would have all the wild card spots. So thought that was kind of cool. I mean, like something's got to give. I mean, it is the most exciting division in football right now. Like we're winning the games that you should be winning, and the games that we're losing, like the Bears in week 2 without an offense still kept it really close against the Texans. So they're starting to heat up. They're starting to click. Offense is starting to move. Packers got Jordan Love back. Dion just crushed the Cowboys. One Bar's 5-0. Like it's a fun division, but it is going to give somewhere. And it's going to start. The Bears don't play the NFC North until we play the Packers in week 11, which I'm super pumped about. But that's when we'll start finding out who's really going to pull away, especially for the playoffs.
All right. Well, there you have it. One quick follow-up question on that. One bar. If all of them don't, who's the odd man out most likely?
Bears.
And Dion?
Packers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm consistent. That's it. I'm consistent.
That's fair.
What about you, Bass?
A lot. No, I'm just kidding. The Bears.
And Nick?
Packers.
Okay.
Interesting.
High five.
No high five this time. You got your high five.
All right. If we can, let's just go over a quick injury update. One bar, is there anything happening in Minnesota? You're coming fresh off of a bye. Anybody look like they're coming back from injury or still going to be injured?
Yeah, this is kind of a painful injury report for the Vikings. Blake Cashman, who's just been absolutely a stud on this defense, he's not playing, and they're saying he probably won't even play on Thursday against the Rams, turf toe. So that's a big old blow. And then TJ Hawkinson, it doesn't sound like he's going to play. Kevin O'Connell was saying some pretty weird stuff today as far as, he said it without saying it, that he's not going to play, which is a bummer. We were hoping for him. And then Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones did not practice today. I would be really surprised if he plays. So those are 3 big boys that I'm not going to sit and cry about injuries to Dion because I know what he's got going on. But the Cashman one hurts the most, I think.
Man, what about you, Dion? What's going on in Lion Country from an injury standpoint?
Well, I mean, the outside of the big news, the Carlton Davis situation is one to keep an eye on because I remember before the season, I thought about this today. We were doing our bold predictions, and I told One Bar that he would shut down Justin Jefferson. Well, he's got to play for that to happen. I think it's possible still, One Bar. I'm still believing that it's going to happen, but he's got to play, and now he's popped up with a quad. We thought it was concussion during the game. So Dan Campbell said he's optimistic, but as of today, he did not practice. Outside of that, I think they're going to be fine. They just got a lot of guys on there with rest. But yeah, the Aiden Hutchinson one, he's expected to be out for the season. Maybe the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a possibility. It could fall into that timeline. You know, I'm not counting that out, but that's the big one. And right now, we're just keeping an eye on a potential trade at some point here.
Trades are going to be a hot topic next week. Getting closer and closer to the deadline. Bash, what's going on the injury front in Green Bay?
Dion, technically, if Carlton Davis doesn't play, he's only going to allow 0 receptions on Justin Jefferson. It's very true. Just like how Jared Goff didn't throw an incompletion during the bye week. Yeah.
The like technicalities, boy.
This is a show of technicalities now. So let's all right, for the Green Bay Packers, they're actually getting pretty lucky recently. Like there's some injuries that happen in games, and when you watch them, you're like, that doesn't look too good. And then the next week comes along and they're practicing. So the only player that didn't only 3 players that didn't practice today, Elton Jenkins, who has had this knee injury for the past like 2 to 3 weeks. It's just like a rest day. Colby Wooden's the new addition. He's like a depth rotational defensive lineman, and Devontae White. He's been out for the last 3 weeks. We saw injuries happen in this last game. Jaden Reed on a punt return. First off, never have him at punt return again because it's pointless. Injured his ankle. He's already practicing, so that's massive news. And then Dontavian Wicks left with a shoulder injury after 10 snaps in that game. Matt LaFleur said they dodged a massive bullet there, and he was also practicing today. Christian Watson practicing, so no setback after the return from his ankle injury. Jair, no setback. He's limited today after his return from his groin injury last week. It's all on the up right now. Like there's no real terrible injury news for the Packers thus far this year, knock on wood.
All right, and Nick, take it away. What's going on in Chicago? Any injury news?
Yeah, no. First of all, I forgot to say it earlier in the show, but TD, welcome back. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Hope all's all good by you down in Florida. But yeah, no, Bears the bye week could not have come at a better time for the Bears. We lost our long snapper, our second long snapper of the season. So we're on our third now. Former Lions long snapper Jake McCarty, I think his name is, Dion.
Jake McQuaid.
McQuaid, yeah, I don't know where I got that from. Sorry, terrible at pronouncing names.
You said it. I was going to say nothing.
I will say Ron S is in the chat right now. He's probably laughing because I don't know how to pronounce names. But we got a new long snapper, and then on top of it too, we did have some injuries to our secondary. So Tyreek Stevenson's been out, Kyler Gordon's been out, and Jaquan Brisker's been out. So all those guys, Jaquan with a concussion, Tyreek with a calf, and Kyler Gordon with a hamstring injury, the one that he had during the preseason. So could not have come at a better time. But other than that, the Bears have been pretty healthy overall. Tevin Jenkins seems a lot better from his ankle injury that he had. But the Bears it's a good time for the bye week for them. Like I was like, I don't want to bye week that early, but the Bears absolutely needed it. So from the injury front, everything's looking in the right direction for them right now.
All right, well, there you have it. Let's do what we do every week. We got to check in on these quarterbacks, but we're going to do it a little different this week. We know how these quarterbacks are doing. I told myself, going into week 7, we're going to ask the same question that we asked preseason. Okay, we are 6 weeks in now. I need each and every one of you gentlemen on the spot to rank the quarterbacks in the division 1 through 4. All right, we're going to start out with the top of the mountain, 1 bar. Off the top of your head, give me your quarterback order. 6 weeks have gone by. We've gotten a good sample size now.
Ooh, damn. Well, it's going to be a lot different than the original. I know that. Sam Darnold, baby. He's 5. Sam Darnold's at the top. We're 5-0. I see Dion trying not to laugh right now. 5-0, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks, quarterback rating, just absolutely lighting it up. So Darnold, number 1. This is where it gets dicey. Caleb Williams is still last for me. Like the dude has been ripping it up. I'm giving it to you. And Nick, he's been ripping it up. I got to look at what he's been doing against those teams that he's been playing. And I'm going to put Goff 2. I'm putting Love 3. Obviously the injury definitely comes into play there, but I'm going Darnold, Goff, Love, Williams.
Man, Dion, do you agree with that? Does that sound right to you?
No, it's wrong. But so we're doing this. This is based on like what we've seen so far, right? So here's where I'm at with it, and I think I don't know how anybody's gonna feel about this. Obviously, Goff is 1. We know that's number 1, but it's after that based on what we've seen so far. Because TD, I'm not projecting into what this is gonna end up. But as of right now, I'd put Goff at 1. I'm struggling with Sam Darnold at 2. I kind of I like it,
Do
but he didn't play great against the Jets, but I understand it was the Jets. So I'm gonna this is tough. I'll put right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna put Goff 1. I'll put Darnold slightly 2. I'll go Love 3, and then Caleb 4. I want to flip 2 and 3 though. That's where I don't think that's how the year's gonna finish though, Nick. I don't think that's how it's gonna end. That's just kind of where I'm at right now. Just because look, as well as Caleb's doing, I gotta be fair. He's playing some awful pass defenses, and I didn't even realize Jacksonville was that bad in the secondary until watching it. I was like, this is horrible. But in fairness, he did well. He's doing well. He's just doing it against terrible defenses, and his competition's really stiff. And not having Darnold play last week makes this tough. Because I don't know what it looks like. Like, he's not coming off a great week, but he's also one of the best defenses. So I struggle with that. I think Love is looking very comfortable right now, which is why I'm struggling with those 2.
If Love isn't first, you don't know football. Who is throwing off their back foot? All right, Bass, that's a nice intro. Talk to us.
I like that, but I mean, to make a quarterback doesn't mean the platforms he throws off of. You know, I don't want to go off of like massive recency bias here and be like, oh, well, Darnold didn't play and he looked kind of bad in the last 3 quarters of the Jets game, and Love just had a terrific game. You know, Love still's had some troubles turning over the football if we're looking at the year collectively. So I think statistically, collectively, I have to put Darnold at number 1 just based off of what has happened. I'm gonna put Love number 2 just because he's still above Darnold in touchdowns and has missed 2 games. You know, I guess Darnold has missed only 1 game compared to him now because the bye week. I digress. I'm going to do Goff 3 and Williams 4. And again, I agree with what you guys said on Williams. It's not like, oh, he's 100% on the, like, we're all very close right now through 6 weeks. Like, it's not, you know, when we were making the list preseason, you're kind of like, you could see certain gaps in your numbers. I think right now it's all very close, and Caleb's been playing phenomenal last 3 weeks, and I keep saying it every week, Nick, and we'll get into it when we review the game, but I keep saying, like, you know, last week I said it was his best game, and I believe it's going to be his best game this upcoming week, and it has been. So he's been playing terrific. Goff's been super efficient, you know, kind of had some turnover issues early, but now really nothing. And Darnold, you know, just put it together for 5 weeks, and they're 5-0. So, yeah, I'm going to go Darnold, Love, Goff, Williams.
Man, Darnold getting some love. Okay, Nick, bring it home.
Man, so, you know, there's a lot of factors, because we're all about factors in this show today. There's a lot of things that I'm putting into my technicalities. Thank you. That sounds like a lot better word, and it's true. So a lot more, you know, going into this. Caleb Williams sucked the first couple of games, but it wasn't his fault because his offensive play caller literally admitted that he didn't have anything scripted for a rookie quarterback with one of the worst offensive lines in the worst offensive line in the NFC North. If that's what I'll say right there. But he has progressed tremendously, and against NFL defenses, even the worst NFL defense is going to be better than almost every other college secondary that Caleb Williams is going to go against. So the speed is different. It's faster. It's more complex. And his progression over the last couple of weeks is really impressive considering what he started with the first 3 weeks to the last 3 weeks. Doing a great job. 7 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions in his last game, you know, completing over 75% of his passes over the last 3 weeks. Like, he's doing a really good job so far. So my number 1, I'm just going to go with Sam Darnold. Dude's playing lights out right now. Let's just put that at the top. That's why Minnesota's at the top of the division right now. Number 2, I am going to go with Jared Goff for now. That could change. It's going to change. Like where Williams is right now, it's definitely going to change. I'm going with Williams at number 3, only because he's a rookie with the progression. He doesn't have the offensive line that Jordan Love has. Also, he's got to understand his playbook and the speed of the game. I'm only putting Love at 4 right now because, again, toughest division in football where you have to rank everybody. I think that Love, if he was 100%, especially the last couple of weeks, he would definitely be playing at a higher level and could be 2 or 3. But right now, week 6 as it stands, I'm going Darnold, Goff, Williams, Love.
Man, we're getting some Sam Darnold love at number 1. Somebody pinch me. Would we have ever thought that this would be even remotely in the conversation? But Dion, you're the only one that didn't go Sam Darnold number 1. Is that like let's be honest, like, is that home cooking? Like, well, I'm gonna ride for my guy, or you know, you really feel like he's been the best quarterback in the division, you know, with the 18 for 18 and all of that stuff?
So you're asking me, is Goff the best quarterback? Because Sam Darnold. For me, Sam Darnold being at 1 isn't really a conversation because if I lined them all up and I was like, pick one for next week, I wouldn't take Sam Darnold 1. I feel like that'd be crazy. So then if I'm projecting to the end of the year, it's going to look different as well there. Look, I mean, if we wanted to go by numbers, I think Goff probably has to be number one. If we're going very recent, if we're going on a full season, maybe it's Darnold. I don't know. Statistically on a season, maybe Darnold. They're probably pretty close there. So if we're just going by numbers, I could make the Goff case very easily because of what he's doing recently. But yeah, no, if I would just, like I said, if I line them all up, I'd struggle between Love and Darnold right now. I think Darnold's playing really well in that offense, but I think it's kind of like what Nick said, with Love coming back and the way that I feel like he played this last week, specifically against a pretty shaky team, but he looks like Love at his best. Like that's when I think Love is going to be his best and where he's most dangerous is what Love looked like last week. So that's why I have Love up there, and I think I can flip those two. But I'm giving credit to Darnold because of what Darnold has done so far to this point. I would just take Love's ceiling.
Got it. All right. Just curious. One bar, what can you tell us about the Cam Akers trade? Is that something that has an underlying meaning? Is your running back okay? What's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, it just speaks to Aaron Jones' health. I mean, they keep saying like, hey, don't think too much into this as far as Aaron Jones, but you have to. Like, we have Ty Chandler and Myles Gaskin on our roster right now. So the Cam Akers trade, it was a 6th or 7th, and we get Cam Akers, so it's basically free. And Cam Akers, when he was here last year, he's a pretty damn good running back. When he's healthy, he can play. He can block, he can pass catch, he can run tough, which is something that Ty Chandler can't do. So I think he's going to see the ball. Even Sunday against the Lions, he's going to see the ball, and I hope he does.
All right, and Bass, it looks like you upgraded at the kicker position. What's going on with that? What didn't you like about the last one?
He missed 5 kicks, which was league worst. He was around a 70%, and Nick cursed him. He said his 44 is icy, and the dude literally was icy. He couldn't hit a damn kick. So Brandon McManus has a lengthy resume in terms of kicking in the league. His resume from 40 to 49 yards is around 85%. So when you look at like his overall kicking stats, yeah, sure, over his career it's like 81, 82%, which is the same as Anders Carlson. But he's not missing like the gimmies or what is now the gimmies in the NFL, like that 44-yard field goal where Anders and Narveson, like those were the kicks they missed like every single time. So McManus was more so getting his misses from long field goals and whatnot. 33-year-old kicker, I think. It's not a future fix. It's not like, oh, we have our kicker. Like, we haven't even seen him kick yet in the green and gold. But I think it's a this-year fix, and I'm hoping it's the last time we need to make a roster move at kicker this season. I'm glad the Packers did it sooner rather than later. We're talking week 6, week 7 of the NFL season. It's better to kind of do this now than later when your season's on the line and you need a win to make it to the playoffs. And you line your rookie kicker up for a 45-yard field goal in Lambeau in December, and he shanks it wide right, and you're like, all right, see you next season. Like, you don't want that. So McManus, I love the move, and hopefully this is better than Anders and Narveson over the past year and a half.
Sorry to cut you off, Bass. Ian Rappaport reports the Lions just got Hassan Reddick in a trade and sends over a 3rd-round pick to the Jets. Wow.
I don't believe him.
It just happened. It just went down. They got the guy.
I haven't gotten the notification yet, TD.
No, sir.
But
They got it. How you feel, Dion?
TD just got trolled.
How you feeling, Dion?
TD,
just
stop it, TD. Get me off the screen, man.
He saw a tweet from Ian Rappaport. He saw the wrong one.
Oh, man. That was going to be my next question, though. And ladies and gentlemen, that did not happen. These guys are getting better. But you better believe Dion was over
That's
here like this.
That's what you did to me,
I did
TD.
peek. I did peek.
Dion kept
I did peek.
I would have been very
He gets
upset
someone
with that
every
news.
year, man. He got.
should I have done it in one bar with Cashman not playing this weekend? I don't know. Hey, but
Toy with
that
my
was,
heart, man.
That was my next question, Dion. Where are you all with the pass rusher given the major injury? Are you really pursuing Hassan Reddick? Is that something you're going after?
JD, I'll say that was pretty good. That was good. No, that was good timing. It was good because today we heard that at least the rumor was they made a call to their agent. So I was like, dang, that might be true. I don't want to look, so I kind of was like, maybe I should just turn off my camera, but I do got to peek because he might be telling the truth. I'm gonna be different than most, I think, here. I'm not that big on Hassan Reddick, to be honest with you, from what I've seen so far. I mean, maybe I just need to watch more. Watch him again. I just don't love him. I mean, if they traded for him, I'd be like, all right, maybe I could talk myself into it. Maybe I get to a point where it's like I just needed to see more. But right now, I'm not that big on Hassan Reddick. But I do want to make a trade. I do want to go acquire somebody, and I think they will do that. I don't think they'll make the crazy idea trade of like, hey, here comes Myles Garrett to the Lions. I don't think that's even possible. But I think a trade is going to. I definitely looked. I think a trade is going to happen. I'm just not that huge on Hassan Reddick as of right now.
Just curious. Outside of that, man, I don't have nothing for the Bears right now, other than the fact that Caleb Williams is ripping it up, having a great resurgence this year. How do you feel about that, Nick?
I mean, TD, I'm stoked. Over the last 3 games, he has over 700 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 120 rushing, over 120 passer rating. Like, this is everything that the Bears have been looking for. And a lot of people, going back to some of the comments, like, he's gone against trash teams. Well, that's the expectation then for him, right? Like, if you're doing what you should do against trash teams, that means that you're doing your job. Like, if Caleb was struggling against the Jaguars, if he was struggling against the Panthers, we'd be having a different discussion right now. But he's doing what he should be doing. He's showing progression. He looks so much more comfortable in the pocket, too. And Shane Waldron's just blowing up that playbook for him. So, I mean, it's a great feeling as a Bears fan, knowing that we have an actual quarterback to cheer for now. I want to see him do it against a good team, though. Like, if I wish that we played Houston now versus when we played him in week 2. Because that would be a true, showing of like, he's actually doing a pretty darn good job. He's progressing really well. I mean, his first game, he threw for 64 yards. Nothing. But now he's the first Bears rookie quarterback to have multiple 300-yard passing games in a season. Fastest Bears rookie quarterback to 1,300 passing yards. I mean, everything's going in the right direction. And I'm looking at the schedule. We got the Commanders. We got the Patriots, and then I forgot who else we have over the next couple of weeks. Oh, the Cardinals. And I'm like, keep building the kid's confidence. Let him get more comfortable, because walking into that Green Bay game, that's going to be his next major challenge. And if he's riding a high and he's getting the speed of the game down, he's only going to get better as time goes on. He's going to be able to take on hard secondaries like Green Bay's.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the latest news, updates, and injuries throughout the division for the NFC North Roundtable. It's time to get into the game recaps of what happened over the weekend, okay? Now, we know that the Vikings had a bye, so they're sitting back, relaxing. They had 2 weeks to sit back and just watch the Lions. Just watch them for this game this week. We're going to get into the game previews in about 2 days, so make sure you come back to check out that video, because that's going to be a good one. When you got the Vikings and Lions facing off at the top, and you got the Green Bay Packers going against red-hot Commanders on the road, and Texans. The Bears – oh, Texas, I had it mixed up. And Texans and the Commanders for the Bears.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're on a bye. So
bye, and then the Commander. But we won't do your preview this week then, all right? But yeah, man, it's gonna be a weekend. It is definitely gonna be a weekend. Shout out to Joe Nathan with the donation to the channel. Said Jordan Love is tied for second in passing TDs while missing 2 games. The rest are just above average. Is that true?
I mean, there's something to think about.
Is he tied for second?
Yeah, he's tied for second with 12. I mean, he also has a decent amount of interceptions, so you got to look at that. But it is impressive.
Interceptions in there.
He is the last Green Bay quarterback. So he has 2 straight home games with 4 passing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers never did that. So Brett Favre was the last one. That's crazy, right? Like, when I read that, I'm like, no way. Like, there's no way Aaron Rodgers didn't have 2 straight home games with 4 passing touchdowns. Love has. Another home game this week. Can he get 4 against the Houston Texans? I think that's a whole different story. But he is 12 passing touchdowns, so he's tied for second. Yeah, right under Baker, who I think's 15 in first, I think.
Yeah, that definitely is legit. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive into this weekend. All right. First and foremost, we want to start out with the Chicago Bears beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 35-16. Not only did they beat them impressively. They did it with fashion, with style, and their quarterback emerged on the scene. Let's start off with Dion here. What was your take on that game?
TD, I was feeling real good at like the first drive, man. Now it was more like the first 2 drives, and I was like, hey, because Nick had the notebook, and I felt good about taking Jacksonville. I was like, that was deep. They're not gonna be able to run the football. They're gonna have a problem against this team. And then I fell asleep like through the middle of the game. I woke back up. Like, let me see this. It's 21-10. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I go back and watch. Like, this is a disaster, man. First off. hey, this is where it's tough because I have to give the Bears credit for this. Like, I'm watching their offensive line, and they're doing well, man. They're pass protecting. We were getting on them at the beginning of the season. We were laughing at them. And as bad as the Jaguars defense looked, I have to flip it around and say that, like, give credit to Chicago because there really isn't any pressure here. And I don't know that, when they play a much better defense, I don't think the team's going to look like this. But they did their job, as Nick said, against a bad team. That's what you're supposed to do. And, man, they played really well. And I think the thing that sticks in my mind when I watch Chicago is Shane Waldron. Just think about the play calling. And that first touchdown that they had to Cole Kmet, which, by the way, the linebacker just frustrates me. I'm like, what is he doing? All right, he's lost on the play, and then he's walking, chasing the guy. But it was still that was a pretty awesome play call. Like, I mean, that was pretty cool to see. So they got all this creativity, run all these screens. You're watching Caleb use his legs, and you're like, oh, that's a threat. I think the Bears, what you're seeing is they played an offense that's got big time problems, and my goodness, they exposed like all of it for Jacksonville. Like, I mean, Trevor Lawrence looked like panicked all the time in that game. So this is a great defense that is now week to week consistent against some shaky teams, but consistent. And I think the Bears are coming to form, this is why I thought the Bears would be second, because I looked at the schedule and I thought they could win these games. And I think when the beginning of the season happened, you're seeing how bad the O-line was. I kind of dropped off a little bit too far, maybe than I should have. Like, this is what the Bears are capable. They're a tough team. They're a tough team for a lot of teams because they can play the best teams of football and keep it low scoring, and it's going to be difficult to beat them. They're going to hang in with everybody. So I think the Bears are just kind of coming to life with what was potentially there. I don't think it's like a Super Bowl team or something like that, but this is a playoff type of team, I think, right now that could get in because of their well-roundedness as a team. And by the way, real quick, Roschon Johnson, he was huge in this game. He was huge. I mean, I thought he was down on that one little screen, but he was huge. He had that one little one-handed snack. Roschon Johnson was big time, man. So they're good. I don't think they have a super high ceiling, but they're a good team.
What did you add on in one bar?
Nah, Dion, you nailed it. I mean, the defense, like you said, with this defense, you can be, and they probably will be in a lot of games. It all comes down to the offense and the defense they're playing because we know their offense, they have the weapons and they can make things happen if they're going against teams. But Nick, you can correct me. Like the last, was it 3-4 games? The record of the teams they're 3-14. So they're doing what they should be doing. They're spanking them. NFC North, with the Vikings on bye, I got to sit back and just watch every one of these games, hoping oh man, let's just see something gross out of these guys. They all just spanked their bare butts all weekend, and it was horrible. I hated watching it. But back to the Bears. I'm not gonna rag on them for beating a crappy team. They smoked them, and with this defense, 4 sacks, continuing to get turnovers, doing what they're getting Swift involved, doing what he's doing. This is what you want to see in a team, and we're gonna see. I'm not bought into the Bears by any means. They're proving that they're not a horrible team. And the way they're beating these teams is they're in a different level. It's just about how far they're going to rise this year, because like Dion said, I mean, they're going to be a team for the future that is going to be playing. It's just how far are they going to go this year. Cole Kmet is the man. I mean, as a Vikings fan, I got to give respect to Cole Kmet, the dude out there, just a safety net for Caleb Williams this year. A couple scores. He's out there long snap. He's perfect for this offense. I know the receivers get all the love because of their names and what they could do, but Cole Kmet is the man. But as far as offense or rookie of the year for the Bears, if I'm a Bears fan, I'm giving it to that punter, man. That punter, are you kidding me? When they drafted him in round 4, I was laughing my ass off. But the dude is pounding that thing all over the field. That dude is a baller. But I got to see the Bears prove it. I know you got a couple weeks ahead. Washington will be a tough game, but I see that you get the Vikings, Packers, and Lions 3 in a row. We'll see what the Bears are made of then. But with this defense, they can be in any game.
All right, Bass, what you got on it?
Yeah, so I was similar to Dion. I didn't pick the Jags win. I picked the Bears, so I'll take that win. But when I'm kind of sitting there, I'm obviously I don't want the Bears to win. And I was up pretty late Saturday, and I wake up early Sunday, and I check it, and I'm like, all right, Jags kind of doing all right in this first quarter. They're up 3-0, stopped the Bears in their first 2 drives. I see a clip on Twitter of Caleb Williams throwing the ball into the back of his lineman's helmet. I'm like, here we go. This is some Bears stuff I'm ready to see. And then I fall back asleep, and I wake up. I'm like, oh, what? Come on, man. Really? Jags, you had one job. I picked the Bears, but you had one job here. The Jags are a dumpster fire, man. And I'm not trying to discredit the Bears here because they're playing lights out, and Caleb Williams is super efficient. They're protecting him better. And 4 weeks ago when we were kind of analyzing Caleb Williams, and I said a couple things. It just didn't look like he was in rhythm. He was kind of hopping back there, hopping. It seems like that's getting cleaned up. To finish 23 of 29, 4 touchdowns. The one pick was bad. I think it was to Andre Siska. That was definitely a horrible throw, but it happens. You're a rookie. 124.4 rating. And I think one of the main things the Bears are doing so much better is running the football, and not only that, stopping the run. You look at the Jags running attack. I mean, they ran 20 times for 68 yards, a 3.4 average. And on the flip side, the Bears ran 29 times for 152 yards and a 5.2 average. And you guys said it best. Cole Kmet, love that guy. I saw them also throw a quick flat route to Mercedes Lewis, which is awesome, against his team that drafted him 18 years ago. And I got to always give love to Big Dog. Like, every time I see that guy, I'm like, I hate that you're a Bear, but like, way to get after it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I picked the Bears. I didn't pick them by this much. So very impressive to go out there in London, not only, yes, the Jags are a bad team, but you're playing off schedule. And I think that's why the Bears started kind of slow. So, but they got it done in the end and dominating wings. So it's impressive.
Nick, take it home.
All right, so was taking some notes in the background. Just want to put this out there: is that the Bears are 9-5 in their last 14, 10-7 in their last 17. They're 7-2 in their last 9 against the NFC. They're on a 3-game winning streak, and they've won 9 in a row at home. Like, this team culture has completely changed in the last 17 games. And that's what I love about this team right now. Like, everyone said it. They are beating the teams that they need to beat. This offense is clicking now. The offensive line, now that they've made Nate Davis inactive, like, they're not even suiting him up, which I love. Absolutely. Biggest free agent bust in the recent memory. Like, the Bears are winning a lot of games. Like, they're doing what they need to do. Matt Eberflus, again, built a culture. He's got every single guy in that locker room wants to play for Matt Eberflus. And what he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars is just exactly what we needed. In front of the whole nation and internationally, Bears crushed the Jaguars. And the Jaguars are like the most favorited team in London, by the way. Like, they are crazy fans over there about the Jaguars. The Bears also, for the first time in 68 years, scored 5 offensive touchdowns in back-to-back games. First time scoring 35-plus in back-to-back games since 2013. This team is like turning it around. That's what I'm so happy about it. Like, DeAndre Swift, last 3 weeks, it's one of the best running backs in the NFL from a total yards advantage. You have Keenan Allen now getting involved. Baz said it too. We're putting Big Dog out there and getting him involved, which is just incredible. We have a 40-year-old making big plays. But overall, this team is just performing so much better. You move Matt Pryor in at right guard, who was a second-string guy his entire career, and he's got over a 65 PFF grade over the last 3 games. Coleman Shelton hasn't allowed a sack or a pressure in the last 4 games, which is also incredible because that week 1 against the Titans, he was absolutely destroyed. So the Bears are just doing everything correctly that they should be doing now. And now we are like more confident going into harder matchups. Against Jacksonville Jaguars, we were missing 3 of our secondary guys overall in the game. I mean, like, Tyreek Stevens and Jaquan Brisker were out for the first half, and then you lose Kyler Gordon. So you're losing 3 of your 4 starters in the secondary, and you're still able to make Trevor Lawrence not do anything against us, against an arguably very tough wide receiver room. We were also getting after Lawrence. We were creating a lot of pressure. Like, this team is just doing everything that they should be doing in order to win games. I love what I saw against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The defensive line, Austin Booker, our rookie out of Kansas, 5th-round pick, did great. And then, who was it? One bar talked about Torrey Taylor. Torrey Taylor has 6 punts inside the 10 this year out of less than 15 punts. That's why he won Special Teams Player of the Week a couple weeks ago. He's just doing everything right. This team is got a lot of heart, has a lot of culture. And again, Cole Kmet coming in and being a long snapper was super impressive. But they were clicking. Caleb Williams looks super comfortable out there. Ever since he's put the glove on the non-throwing hand, he looks so much more comfortable out there. Overall, I'm pumped about how this Bears team is playing right now. And what they did against the Jacksonville Jaguars is exactly what they needed to do. And I cannot wait for the 325 game after the bye against the Commanders. Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams is going to be one heck of a show. So overall, team's doing great. Couldn't be more happy about it, TD.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bears are on a roll right now. And big ups to Caleb Williams. Definitely turning things around. Has a lot of people opening their eyes right now. All right. Real quick, before we get into the Green Bay Packers beating the Arizona Cardinals 34-13, I just want to share with everyone, because a lot of people may not know that Roundtable Sports also has a website, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So take the time whenever you get a chance, check out the Roundtable Sports Network. Here are your guys, the first set of guys on the left going down. And by the way, NFC North was the first expansion roundtable of Roundtable Sports after AFC East. And special congratulations to the NFC North Roundtable, to all four of you gentlemen, just eclipsing 5,000 subscribers on the channel in less than a year, which is amazing, man. So y'all give it up in the chat for these guys. They've been doing some great work providing excellent content to you all. If you want to go onto the website at the top right, you can click on show. You can go to the AFC, the NFC. All of it is listed. Let's click on NFC North, where you're going to find your guys. And here we go, the NFC North Roundtable Sports Network. All right. And here are their socials. Make sure you go check out their socials. They're on YouTube and their individual channels on Twitter as well. Here are your creators. We want to make sure that you all go check them out, okay? But if you do love sports in general, check out all the divisions. We have them all lined up. Listen, right now while we're live, the AFC North is live as well. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. They thought that they were going to have more viewership than the NFC North this week. They're at 350 live watchers. We have 412 over here.
Hey-o.
So salute to the NFC North doing their thing. All right. All right, man. But congratulations, fellas. Breaking that threshold. We can't wait for 10,000 because that's when we're gonna have a party, baby. You know, when the Bears win the Super Bowl.
No, we're not.
Damn right, TD. Come on now.
There's no party.
Oh, man. All right, man. Let's get into the Green Bay Packers beating the Arizona Cardinals 34-13, putting a whooping on them, man. Let's start out with one bar this time. What were your takeaways in that game? Jordan Love getting in rhythm?
You know what? I was going to this. I picked the Packers to win, but it was very close. It was very close, and it all came down to Kyler Murray, and the Packers said, "Screw it, we're just going to keep this dude in check," and it was over quickly. Like it was still. I don't remember if it was the third quarter or whatever it was. It was still relatively close, but it was. You knew it was over. There was no question in it. And hats off for the Packers. I got to say, hats off for the Packers for moving on from their kicker. Well done. Like, as much as I'd love for him to be kicking all year, at least they made the move. But it's the theme of the North this week. They killed them. It was an all-out butt whooping. Love had all the day or all the time in the world in the pocket. And when Love has time in the pocket, he's going to make things happen. Dobbs is back, making an impact. Packers defense contained Kyler Murray. When you contain Kyler Murray, any team contains him. The Cardinals are not going to win. The only chance the Cardinals had is if he was going to be flying all over the place, getting yards with his legs. Didn't happen. Honestly, it was painful. That was the most I've watched the Cardinals in quite a while. And I went into this game thinking, like, I don't know if the Cardinals are really that good or what's up with these guys. The drops, the fumbles, I was just like, are you kidding me? This team is horrible. And hats off for the Packers. I mean, they continue to get the turnovers. They continue to make the big plays. So it was a big win for them to go to 4-2. I'm still going to say what I did last week is, you know, the Packers got a tough road coming up ahead of them. We're going to see what they're made of then. Like, they beat the Cardinals. Baz, you picked them. Everybody picked them. We got to see what happens with them when they start playing these big-time teams.
Dion, what you got on it, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Here's the thing, man. The way I see it is, first off, no, I got to say this, though. Jordan Love, man, I didn't know he was this kind of guy, but I think it's becoming more and more clear. Like, I wasn't around for Brett Favre, but this dude is like a full-on gunslinger, bro. Like, I didn't know this is what he would become, but he's become this. Like, this dude's going to take shots. It's off the back foot. He's going to let that thing fly. And it gets him into trouble, but it's like, you know, that's kind of the return is you get some amazing plays. That last touchdown that he had to Dobbs, I should say, was incredible. That the third down, like, Murphy Bunting was lost. And you're watching it, like, oh, they got pressure. They finally got him off the field. And he scores this touchdown. And I believe that was set up by the play that I thought killed the Arizona Cardinals. It was 13-24, and I think it was they had the bad third down offensively or something. It was like it killed them. Or no, it was a flag. I think it was a flag defensively. And that kind of felt like the the difference in the game. Like Arizona was kind of trying to work back into it. For me, I didn't think Green Bay ran the ball as maybe I expected them to. I thought they would really just gash them up front. But I think every time you watch the Packers, you walk away and it's like, man, the play calling from LaFleur is always on point. They always seem to have great timing with their screens for whatever reason. And Romeo, it was great to have him back as a Packers fan. And then Christian Watson got rolling. And I think the big thing is you felt a gap. You felt like when they needed to have it, you felt like that receiving core is just straight better than the Arizona Cardinals secondary. Like they were just better. And Jordan Love was just better. And he was delivering some big time throws. Their other touchdown was a third down as well to Romeo. And then Christian Watson takes the top off. They were just better in those spots. The only thing that Arizona seemingly got going was their tight ends. Like that was it. It was like Arizona, started to roll with their tight ends a little bit. They had nothing going offensively outside of that really at all. So I thought for this one, like there's still some questions that I have about Green Bay in terms of, getting just some of the main questions I had coming into the season, like how good were they going to be rushing the football? How good were they going to be against great secondaries? And this wasn't the best test for that, but it did show okay, they're one of the better receiving rooms in football. And early this season, we had brought up questions about that with Wicks, they're not really coming through. This week, they took over this game, and they kind of seemingly carried this game. So this was a good win for Green Bay. I think I had them winning by multiple scores, but I saw a path. Like there was a way that Arizona could win this game, and Green Bay didn't necessarily play into the path that I thought they had to. Yet they still found a way to blow this team out. So I actually thought this was a very impressive win. I was kind of shocked to see this thing was 24-0 at one point, and then as soon as they started kind of inch back into it, Arizona had a bad penalty or something threw them off, and then the game just kind of seemingly ended. But yeah, I thought the receiving core showed up, and it seems like that's what Green Bay is going to be. And then this, like I said, this is the dangerous Jordan Love. This is Jordan Love where it's this is. Okay, he might make some mistakes, but when they're going to reach their potential, it's because he's playing like this. I feel like he's letting that thing fly, and he was getting the ball out quickly. He just seemed on time in this game.
All right, Nick, what do you have on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Green Bay, like we've been saying, kind of the message for the whole show is that they did what they were supposed to do, and they whooped the Cardinals. I mean, like Dion was saying, 24-0 at one point. I was like, man, Green Bay is just not letting off the gas pedal. And watching, I was like, see, that's why we're the toughest division in football, because once you're just dominating games that you should be dominating. I mean, their defense looked really good. Everything was just flowing super well for Green Bay the entire game, which I thought was, good to see, especially with Love, starting to come back from his injury. We said it earlier, he's starting to look like his old self. So overall, Green Bay did what they had to do in Arizona. It was in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And they took advantage of Green Bay weather. I mean, Kyler just couldn't do anything against the Packers. Looked uncomfortable out there. There was a ton of slipping. Overall, I mean, Green Bay just did what they had to do. Defense looked really solid yet again. So watch out for Green Bay. They're, again, the NFC North, toughest division in football. I like what I saw. I like what the team brought together, and they got the win. So, and I said they were going to win, Baz. So that the whole thing in regards to when I say Green Bay is going to win, they're going to lose, I guess the curse was broken right there. The moon was out.
Go. The moon was out. It was full moon last night.
All right. Well, what do you have on it, Baz? Your team doing their thing.
Yeah, it was a altogether great team performance outside of kicking. So I'm glad, like you guys, one bar you said, glad they did that move, or you're surprised, or I guess you think that, good thing they did that is what I'm trying to say. Full team performance here. Offense and defense. It usually is kind of like one way or the other for the Green Bay Packers, where you're like, oh, you're really impressed with the offense one game, but there's some question marks on the defense, or vice versa. And I think they did exactly what they needed to do against the Arizona Cardinals, which they're a shaky team, yeah. I don't think they're Jacksonville level per se. I think they can either be really great, where we saw them smoke the Rams, or beat the 49ers, but they can also be really bad. And I think we got the bad version of the Cardinals here on the road against the Packers. But I think that's also because they had a perfect scheme against them. Kyler Murray coming into this game was off of a 78-yard running performance against the 49ers, and we held him massively in check running the football, 7 carries for 14 yards. He wasn't able to extend the play like he normally does. We were containing with our defensive ends. We were putting Edgerrin Cooper on a spy. And this defense, guys, this defense has a lot of ball players. Evan Williams coming onto the scene, our 4th-round rookie. We have the top 2 graded PFF safeties in the NFL. That's Evan Williams at 1 and Xavier McKinney at 2. To have someone above Xavier McKinney is also insane, and the fact that it's a 4th-round rookie, this guy just continues to make plays. He had a forced fumble. He had a interception on a Hail Mary a couple weeks ago. He had a pass breakup last week to end the game. Seems like every time the Packers need a stop on defense or to win the game or whatnot, like Evan Williams has made the play. So he needs to remain on defense. And then Edgerrin Cooper is a guy, our second-round rookie, that continues to get more and more snaps and super impressive in terms of run fitting and coverage as well. You guys mentioned that the tight ends are really the only thing that got going for the Cardinals, and that is true with Trey McBride. 8 catches, 96 yards, because teams are starting to realize that, hey, we can pick on Quay Walker across the middle. This guy simply cannot cover, and he's not doing a great job at it. I think he needs to be moved off the mic and maybe to a weak side, and Edgerrin Cooper at Mike. I think that would help them. And then flipping to the offense, we were saying this the past couple of weeks, like Jordan Love just doesn't look fully there yet, and I think it was his knee. Like, he wasn't comfortable on that left knee, and he started games rusty. Now, he did start this game 1-4, but after that, he just lit it up, and he hit every throw that he needed to, and it seemed like he made every throw that he needed to. Finished 22 of 32, 258, 4 touchdowns. There's an interception there. But I don't know if you guys saw it. It was a slip on an out route by Bo Melton. It went right into Murphy Bunton's hand. So, it's a statistical interception for Jordan Love, but it wasn't on him like some of the ones in the past have been. And it's crazy when you look at the Packers wide receivers, and we knew this going into the season, like every week it's going to change, but you have Christian Watson leading in yards, you have Romeo Doubs leading in touchdowns, and you have Jaden Reed leading in receptions. Like, I don't know how often that happens for NFL teams, because usually it's like, okay, you have one receiver that's leading in receptions, well, he has the most yards, So they have a lot of weapons over there at wide receiver, and that's with Dontavian Wicks checking out after 10 snaps. They just seemed a lot more in rhythm. Like, Jordan Love's making the normal throws that we saw from last year. Primarily, there was a 4th and 1 where the Packers ended up going for it, and Love fired a dart, I would say more of a touch pass over the middle to Christian Watson running a deep dig over Chris Barnes' head in between 2 defenders. And I think it's the best throw he's had all season. So you're starting to see that come back. You're also starting to see Jordan Love run a little bit more, escape the pocket, not really care about that knee. We're up 34-13 on our last drive, handing it off to our 3rd-string running back. He bounces out to the right side. Jordan Love sprints in front of him, tries to throw a lead block. It's the last play of the game. So you could tell, he doesn't care about his knee anymore. At least he's not thinking about it anymore. You don't want to see him do that unless you're going for a winning field goal, right? Yeah, go out there and lead block. But 34-13, I'm sure Matt LaFleur had a lot of words for him, but it was a very impressive victory. It seemed like an altogether game that we haven't got from the Green Bay Packers yet, and I think it's a perfect game to kind of set up for the Houston Texans, which in my opinion are like theirs and the Cardinals, just 10 times better. Like, they kind of play similarly, have similar pieces, but just better. So it's going to be a tough matchup here in week 7, but it's again in Green Bay. So I'm excited for that.
Man, oh man, oh man. The Green Bay Packers also on a roll. When you look at this division, crazy good things are happening. We got one more game to get through, ladies and gentlemen. And this was the beat down of the week. I mean, the Lions beating up on the Dallas Cowboys 47-9. Not only was it a beatdown, but let's be honest, man, it was a statement. Let's hear from these guys. What do they think about it? Nick, take it away. Hold on, Nick. Hold on. You see this guy?
Well, TD, if there's a time that calls for it, this is one of those times. I mean,
take it away, Nick, man.
No, this is what I'll say is prayers up to Aiden Hutchinson. That leg injury was just brutal to watch. We talked about it before, so hoping he has a speedy recovery because he's exciting to watch. But this Detroit team, they played for him, and they absolutely crushed the Cowboys in Dallas. Super impressive win. This is the Lions team that we know. This is what we talked about, is that we haven't even seen the best of Lions football. We just saw the best of Lions football. They just looked awesome out there. David Montgomery was ripping it up. Jared Goff looked locked in. The defense, even without Hutchinson, just wasn't allowing anything to Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. So, I mean, the Lions made a statement. And to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to the matchup between them because that's going to be obviously the biggest challenge for the Bears on Thanksgiving. But they did what they had to do. Dan Campbell is just an unbelievable coach too. Ben Johnson as well. Ben Johnson's going to be a head coach next year. It's got to happen. So shout out to them for just going into Dallas, whooping the Cowboys, making it known that they are one of the juggernauts of the NFC. Made us look really good too. I mean, the NFC North, just that, again, we're going to say this statement over and over, best division in football. And they just showed it right there against the Dallas Cowboys, who spent all that money on 2 guys, and they weren't even able to do anything. So shout out to the Lions. Great win for them.
Great win for the Lions, says Nick. What about you, Bass? What you got on it?
I'll keep it pretty short since we lost 8 minutes due to technicalities on this show. This is embarrassing. This is an embarrassing game, and I'll agree with Nick. I don't think anyone disagrees that you don't want to see an injury such as that to any player on any team. And I liked watching Aiden Hutchinson, especially I think it was like week 2 or 3 where he had like 5 sacks. It was a joy to watch. As much as I feared that guy, you want to see him on the field. So it sucks to see that. It was horrible, and hopefully he can make a nice recovery for next season. But this game, it was just embarrassing for the Dallas Cowboys, and I thought the Lions matched up very well. David Montgomery is insane. I'm upset they re-signed him, and Nick, you should be hurting. I mean, letting go of that guy is awful. Brian Branch, 2 interceptions. The Packers technically let go of him when they made that trade with the Detroit Lions, but we ended up with Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and Carl Brooks. So I'd say both teams won that. And at the end, I mean, the Lions are just toying with them. Like, you knew Dan Campbell made it a mental note to be like, I'm going to show you how many ways I can make an offensive lineman eligible. Like, I'm going to bring these guys out here. I'm going to have Dan Skipper run a route on you just to prove that guy is eligible. I wish Hendon Hooker threw that ball because that would have been a joy to watch. You have the hook and ladder to Penei Sewell. I mean, there is so much cool stuff that I'm watching. I'm like, this is like backyard football. I loved watching it as much as I hated seeing the Detroit Lions win. It was still fun to watch. It was an embarrassing game for the Dallas Cowboys, and they're a former shell of themselves. I think ever since that playoff game last year, they don't know how to win.
All right, one bar, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, Dion, you should send Dallas a sympathy card from yourself. I mean, that was everybody already said it. Like, this is an NFL game. Like, you don't see this very often, just an absolute ass whooping that we saw. It was painful. It was tough to watch. I mean, if I'm a Lions fan, yeah, it was beautiful to watch. And with Hutchinson, yeah, I mean, that's brutal. Like, there's not a ton of players in the NFC North that you kind of root for when you're not playing, just the dude in the NFL that you love. But he's definitely one of those guys. So that was tough to see. He'll be back next year, absolutely ripping it up. But everybody played good for the Lions. I mean, Lions back-to-back 40-plus games, and now we get to see them next week or this coming week. Was kind of hoping it would maybe not turn out that way, but they did it. And they disrespected the hell out of them. Like Baz said, like, are you kidding me? I mean, the stuff they were doing, they were just like, screw you, a big old F you to these guys. And they knew what they were doing. And this was like late in the game. So from my standpoint, it was entertaining. Dan Campbell, the dude is a meathead. He'll always be a meathead. That's why he's doing that type of stuff. And Ben Johnson, yeah, it's going to be fantastic watching this week. Ben Johnson against Flores, a battle of just two very, very smart dudes in the NFL and hopefully future coaches in the NFL. I mean, Ben Johnson, he might be the coach of the Bears next year. You never know. But the Lions whooped it up. You got to give respect to him because you don't see NFL scores like that very often.
Man, oh man. The man of the hour. They're feeling good right now on a statement win. Dose of Dion. Let's hear from you and your Detroit Lions. As you know, the Vikings were sitting back watching. Let's see how good this team is. I think they got the message. How do you feel about this win over the Cowboys?
Well, hey, look, I can say this, but I know none of you were rooting for us to win this game. But, like, there's always a little bit of joy, I think, from all NFL fans watching the Cowboys get smacked. Like, when the Packers, y'all started this. Y'all started this last year. And it wasn't like I was, like, going into playoffs, like, ooh, I hope the Packers get on a run here. But there was still, like, a little bit of love. Like, okay, there's you go. I remember going home to that game and watching before half, and it's like, it's 27-0. Like, there's kind of some love. Like, this is kind of awesome. I had Lions fans sending me videos from that game, like, laughing, cheering with the Packers. So it was beautiful. And then so for us to do that, there's just love across the league. Like, this is beautiful. And that's what this was. Look, I mean, Vikings, they got a head coach fired this year. We might have just fired a radio host. I feel bad for that guy. It's not his fault. Jerry Jones, I don't know what you're doing, but we're. I mean, that's where we're at right now. Like it was that kind of game, and I loved it for all the reasons that you guys said. The biggest thing that I'll say though specifically about the game was the Lions defensively, and for us, it's all about the turnover in the back end. It's about Carlton Davis, right? This addition with CeeDee Lamb, and maybe his best game. I think his best game of the season. Last year, he had about 250 yards on us. This year, he had 90. So it's a big step in the right direction. But what we did, I think, against Dak, to me, was the biggest surprising thing. Like, it wasn't maybe surprised. I didn't think we'd beat him like this. I did not think this was possible. But it wasn't maybe surprising. Like, if you told me the Lions were going to run all over Dallas, that was on the table, all right, I got that. But Dak Prescott completed basically 50% of his passes, and that I wouldn't have believed. I wouldn't have bought that because that hasn't been Dak this season. As bad as they've looked at times, that has not looked like Dak Prescott this season. They've been able to find routes. I mean, this game, it felt like they couldn't find completions, and that was the biggest shocker to me. It's like they can't find completions in this game. So all this like optimism that we've had about this cornerback unit, I think at times it's kind of been like held back. It's like, it's Arizona, dude. But you see this against Dallas Cowboys. Now he puts together some good weeks here in the back end. So I think that this was kind of like a good culmination of that. And it's a really big confidence builder. Hopefully Carlton is healthy going to face one bar in the Vikings, because that's probably the biggest challenge we're going to see all year. You know, even if there's no Hockenson, especially with Jefferson. So we needed that to put that out there. Like, we're capable of this. But yeah, I mean, so overall for me, like, yeah, this was beautiful, TD. This was absolutely beautiful. I hate the Hutchinson part, but the fact that we didn't have an offensive lineman score a touchdown, it actually kind of made it better, because we just kept trying. It was like, let's just keep doing it, and it was hilarious. It was amazing. Like, if we would have scored the first time, we would have just stopped. But it was like, nah, let's just keep doing it over and over. It was just like the fact that you kept doing that over and over, and Dallas just kind of had to like accept that this is going to happen. They're just going to keep trying, is what made it so fantastic. And by the way, Bass, Dan Skipper, this dude is like the funniest player of all time, man. I love Dan Skipper. This man, like he's like working back to the ball, like he's about to go make a play. Like Hooker's about to take off. He's like, hold up, let me get open for my guy here. I love me some Dan Skipper, bro. That guy's hilarious. But yeah, fantastic win, and on to the Vikings. I wish this counted as more than one win. Like, it feels like it should.
Man, oh man, oh man. I will say this, man. Very impressive win. A lot of people didn't see it going down the way that it did. And I'm going to be honest with you. This excites me so much for this Vikings-Lions matchup. I know Nick is excited to see it. Baz, you excited to see that matchup?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
yeah, because the team loses, so yeah.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of want to do the Vikings Lions predictions right now. Man, we got 490 people watching. Y'all let us know in the chat. Should we do the preview right now? Should we do the preview of the Vikings Lions right now? Man, I'm gonna be honest. This is going to tell us everything we need to know. Now, let me just ask you this before we even look into the chat. One bar, are you at all nervous about this one?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Lions are one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, the Vikings are too right now. So, like, them coming off of 2 back-to-back 40-plus games, like, the Lions haven't faced a defense like the Vikings yet. And also Justin Jefferson owns the Lions. He owns them. Go look at the stats of what he has done game in and game out. He's their daddy. He's their daddy, and he's going to be their daddy on Sunday.
Dion, you nervous?
No, I mean, honestly, T, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, I see us winning by multiple scores again. TD, I just think.
Oh my God!
TD, let me tell you that. Look, TD.
Yes, can you imagine the Lions losing this game? Could you imagine that? Oh man, yeah, Baz. Could you imagine that, bro?
I'm just here so don't get fined.
Oh man, listen, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's saying yes. Do the preview. Bosses just hit me up and I can't get fired, man. 2 days from now, we will have the preview show, all right, the prediction show of this weekend. But listen, I want to thank everybody. We just hit 503 viewers, by the way. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This has been a huge night for the NFC North Roundtable, but y'all got to do us a favor. Punch that like button. How can we have 500 people watching and only 100 likes punched? Hit that like button. Let your friends and family members know that the NFC North is live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m., okay? It is going down. You're talking about the best undisputed division in football right now. And I don't care who you are in the chat. Some of y'all may prove me wrong. You did not think the Vikings were going to be in first place at this point of the season. You might have thought the Lions were going to be great. I give you that, okay? But also the Green Bay Packers picking up where they left off, even with Jordan Love getting hurt, doing what they're doing. And come on. The Bears, 4-2. Like, oh boy. I'm glad Nick gone before he got on me. But come on, man. This division is tearing the NFL up. It is on fire, man. I can't believe it. But yeah, Dion, I didn't really want to talk about the Cowboys game. I sell too much. I didn't want to get fired. You know, Jerry Jones called my boss. So, but listen, any last words, Nick, before we go off?
Nope. Excited to sit back, relax, let the team get all healed up, and it's going to be a fun week watching the rest of the NFC North.
All right, what about you, Bass?
I picked all NFC North teams to win last week. Luckily, that can't happen again. I guess the best thing would be you guys tying. So here goes for a tie. Woo! Let's see a tie out there. So, that's one of you guys has to lose. So as long as Packers handle business, that helps us regardless. So let's get it.
Dion?
My man in the chat said he wouldn't click the like button unless he said Detroit the best. So I got you, Rock. And also, just real quick, man, I see some of that. There's a lot of people in the building, so I get it. But there's a little bit of hostility between the other fans that aren't Lions fans. And I get it, man. Y'all afraid. It's okay. Come on for Friday, man. I'll see y'all Friday at the prediction show. It's all good.
Oh, man. Talk to us, one bar.
Vikings Lions, baby. I cannot wait. And the Packers Texans game, I'm really looking forward to see how that one shakes out as well. I mean, that's I wish it wasn't on at the same time, so I don't have to watch it afterwards, but that's gonna be a good one.
Interesting. Y'all make sure y'all come back in 2 days. We'll have the prediction show right here on NFC North. Turn on your notifications, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a beat. And don't forget, this stream was powered by BetUS. They're giving you that opportunity to take advantage of 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 using code YouTube150. We'll see you all Friday right back here on the NFC North Roundtable. Bass, we appreciate it. Nick, we appreciate it. Dion, we appreciate it. One bar. Will you stay on top of the mountain next week when we meet? We shall see. Love you all. We'll see if there'll be a switch on the board. Time will tell. Peace. We are out.